So here's a tutorial to replace the switch on a compound miter saw by Dewalt. This is for a DW705, but probably pertains to other saws along these lines. When I first got it, it would not turn on at all. Checked, the brushes seemed to be fine, so as I'll show you, diagnosed it to be related to the switch. I've gone ahead and disassembled this, but I'll just show you visually how it does come apart. Okay, hidden right down in there is a pretty useful little piece of paper. They've tucked a schematic diagram into the handle, and this will come in handy later part of this process. Okay, so this is the switch, the original switch. It's a Eaton. Serial number is right there. The model number is there. They don't make this. Haven't made it in a long time. It'll be hard pressed to find it. If you go online and search, it'll suggest you purchase a whole handle unit here for $50. I was trying to do this for a little bit more cheaply and ordered one of these. So $11.50 from Amazon. And just to show you visually, they're a pretty good fit. The new switch is actually a little bit smaller, but I knew it was a switch by putting it on this multimeter, checking the resistance, checking the ohms, and just kind of accelerate the video playback here. But you'll notice the red and the black connected there on opposite ends of the switch. When I activate the switch, there's no change in the multimeter. There's no continuity going on between those poles. So it made me feel confident that the switch was defective. And just to demonstrate on the new switch, a slight variation here, though. The switch is wired differently. The poles are on either ends. So the enabled switch is on the right and the brake is on the left in that photo. And I'll just show you quickly what it should look like for continuity. If you look at the multimeter, there you go. 1.4 ohms when it's activated. It's completing a circuit. And now the circuit's off. The other side of the switch is for the brake. And I'll wire that up as well real quick, and you'll see it's on the switch, it's activated by default. When you engage the switch, then it cuts the circuit. So that's how a new switch is supposed to work on these things. Line them up, the switch dimensions are about the same. The new switch is a little bit smaller, and it's got a slightly different handle, which will require some Dremel work to make it fit. I didn't shoot any of that video, but you'll just have to kind of get creative. I tried to remove as little of the plastic handle as possible, but you'll see some sections here that were needed. Now in the shot, you can see the rewiring. Didn't actually have to resplice any of the wires. You just had to fashion the wires to go 2 blacks on the right, red and yellow on the left. And now for that moment of truth. Plug it in and see what it does. I think the saw has to be plugged in for a bit for that brake to activate. But anyway, removal of the plastic meant that switch was a little wiggly in there. So I just put a little piece of wood and a couple dabs of shoe goo to keep things in place. But good to have this saw working again. Hope this video has been helpful.